Alright everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my Coromandel spearfishing adventure. For anyone who missed part 1, here's a quick recap. After a few hours of working on my snapper snooping technique in the morning, it finally all came together and I managed to land this fish. This was a real bucket list fish for me, as it's something we can't really target in the South Island of New Zealand. And then later on that day, a fish that I can quite confidently say will be the biggest snapper of my life. Coming in at 26 pounds, this was a real dream come true. So as you can see, day 1 was going to be pretty hard to beat. Coming into this, I definitely set my sights pretty low, not really knowing what to expect. But it's fair to say by day 2, I was expecting good things. For our first dive of the day, Julian took us out to a rock in the middle of nowhere. It was a spot where he thought we might have a good chance of getting a kingfish. When we got there, we were met with some pretty green and dirty water. There wasn't much current running, and there wasn't a lot of bait around. After about 30 or 40 minutes of diving, no kingfish had been seen, so we all ended up getting distracted by the pink mau, and it was time to go. After this, we went to a new piece of coastline where we were going to try and shoot some snapper. Everything looked really good, the visibility was really good, there was lots of bait and pink mau around, but everyone came back empty-handed. So it had been quite a disappointing morning with only 4 pink mau landed. But after lunch we were back to the mainland and things were about to heat up. For our last dive of the day, we were all dropped off individually along a rocky piece of coastline. It was getting later in the afternoon, we all had the sun at our back and it was the perfect time to snoop a snapper in the shallows. Almost straight away, I see a decent snapper on the other side of the gut. I take aim and pull the trigger, but the flopper doesn't engage. I think this fish must have been just out of range. It's always frustrating losing an injured fish, so I made the decision to change tactics, move out to the weed edge and try for something different. I was working my way out to the weed edge, looking for a boarfish or maybe a John Dory, and I came across a school of baitfish that looked quite agitated, and it didn't take too long to find out why. Big schools of kingfish is something you just don't really see where I come from. I knew none of these fish were all that big, but I couldn't help myself but take one, seeing my opportunities to shoot these are pretty limited throughout the year. I was taking my time and trying to pick out a standout fish in the school. Eventually, I spotted one and it broke away from the pack, allowing for the perfect shot. I was just slowly playing the fish in, trying to make sure the spear didn't pull out, while I waited on the boat to come back with my second gun so I could administer another shot. I've lost a few of these fish in the past by only shooting them once, and I just didn't want to risk it. Yeah, he's a keep. Got him. Yeah, not bad. We're out at a spot this morning looking for some kingfish, but none developed. But as you can see, it's just out on the sandy patch there, and a whole school just came around. So I was just taking my time trying to assess them, figure out which one was the biggest fish, and picked this one, which I'm pretty sure probably was bloody good fight. Good fun. Can't wait to get into it a bit more later on. So it was back to plan A. Go out onto the weed edge and try and find either a boarfish or a John Dory, with either of these fish being a first for me. And then there were a few dives here that had me stumped. I'm sure I can see something from the surface moving along the weed edge, but every time I go down, I come up empty-handed. Until this dive, when I finally figured out what had been evading me this whole time. The master of camouflage, a John Dory. I think these are an absolutely awesome looking fish, and without a doubt one of the tastiest things in the whole ocean. Look at that. That is a beautiful John Dory. Never even seen one of these before. That is amazing. There was just enough time for a couple more dives, so I set up some burley, and I was really lucky on the snapper on what was literally the last dive of the day. Got myself my first John Dory, which was pretty awesome actually. These things are just a master of camouflage. You'll see in the video that I didn't even see him till I was about a metre away from him. He's pretty cool, and got this decent snapper right at the end there. Had a really good battle with him. I probably had about 5 goes burleying him in, and just got the best of him on the very last one. And then so everyone also got a pink mau mau today, which is something we also don't see in the South Island. They're apparently supposed to be very good eating. I think we're going to cook some up tonight. And then a nice kingfish too. I'd say this is probably the biggest kingfish I've ever shot. And we haven't actually weighed it yet, but we're thinking it's probably going to go about 15 kilos, so it's bigger than anything we get in the South Island. So yeah, bloody good day. This was truly one of those once in a lifetime trips. It was so awesome to finally tick some new species off the bucket list. And if anything, it's only made me hungrier to go back again. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys back on the next one.